Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a concept that sparked an incredible amount of curiosity all over the globe, yet somehow it remains one of the most misunderstood systems of thought out there. We're looking at Ifá, literally humanity's oldest living system of enlightenment.
So when you hear the word Ifá, what actually pops into your head? Because for a lot of people, it's completely misunderstood. Some folks just wave it off as mere magic or superstition. Others box it in strictly as an African religion or ancestor worship. But what if I told you that every single one of those definitions barely scratches the surface? It just captures a tiny, tiny fragment of a much larger, way more profound reality. So for this explainer, I'm going to ask you to just set aside everything you think you know, and let's look at humanity's oldest philosophy with totally fresh eyes.
Okay, let's dive into this. We hear the myth all the time. This assumption that Ifá is just about divination, right? Like predicting future events or hunting down external miracles. But the reality is a whole different ballgame. It's actually a complete holistic system of enlightenment. It's totally focused on transforming human consciousness and developing good character. We're talking about a comprehensive philosophy of existence here.
So let's officially redefine it based on our source material. Ifá is one of humanity's oldest surviving systems of enlightenment. It's actually trying to answer the absolute biggest, most complex questions we've ever asked. Things like, who are we? Why are we even here? What is consciousness? And what exactly is destiny? It explores how we ought to live and digs deep into this intricate, delicate relationship between humanity, nature, and the divine. It's just a massive, expansive way of understanding existence itself. There's this really beautiful concept from the text that hits the nail on the head. Divination is not the destination, it is the doorway. So the crucial point is this. Yeah, most people associate Ifá with a consultation. You have a problem, you go see a babalawo, an Odu is cast, you get some advice. Makes sense, right? But that consultation, that specific act of divination, is really just the entry point. It's literally just the doorway you walk through to start a much deeper, truly transformative journey toward enlightenment. Now, what's mind-blowing about this is just how incredibly vast that journey actually is. When an Odu is cast, you aren't looking at some crystal ball predicting your weekend. No, it's actually a massive, living repository of knowledge. An Odu explores philosophy, ethics, psychology, ecology, medicine, governance, cosmology, and get this, even mathematics. It wraps in poetry, history, and the deep study of human consciousness. Ifá is, quite literally, the study of everything. The visible world, the invisible world, the mind, the soul, the whole shebang. Think about how we usually learn things today. Modern education loves to chop knowledge up into these neat, isolated little boxes, right? You go to one room for science, down the hall for ethics, over to another building for psychology or politics. But in the worldview of Ifá, reality flat out refuses to be fragmented like that. Nothing exists in total isolation. Nothing is without a purpose. And absolutely nothing exists without being connected to something else. And this brilliantly illustrates that exact concept. Life is just this perfectly interconnected web. Just think about it for a second. Your physical health naturally affects your state of mind, right? Well, your mind then shapes your character. Your character dictates your destiny, and then your destiny impacts the society around you, and society impacts nature itself, which of course cycles right back to humanity. Everything influences everything else. This is exactly why you can't just reduce Ifá to being just a religion. It's an entire, unbroken way of understanding how life works. Because of that intense interconnectedness, the whole narrative really has to shift inward. A lot of people approach Ifá looking for a quick fix or a miracle. They want money, protection, a spouse, or just general success. But before Ifá promises any of those external rewards, it stops and asks a much more penetrating question. Who are you becoming? Have you actually developed good character? Are you living a life grounded in truth? And this brings us to a huge, fundamental shift in perspective. The difference between just receiving things and truly becoming something. Ifá teaches us that just chasing external blessings or trying to magically fix your circumstances, it's just not enough. Why? Because blessings without the wisdom to handle them rarely stick around. Instead, the focus has to shift to becoming, developing that good character and getting your actions perfectly aligned with your ori, which is your inner spiritual head and your ultimate destiny. You basically have to become the kind of person who is actually capable of sustaining the blessings you're asking for. This quote captures the essence of that shift perfectly, and it's so powerful. The greatest miracle is not changing circumstances, it is transforming consciousness. When someone actually puts in the work and successfully transforms their consciousness, something amazing happens. They inevitably change the way they handle relationships. They make different decisions. They impact their community differently. And ultimately, they change their entire future. That profound internal shift, that is the true definition of enlightenment within Ifá. Now, it's super important we talk about where this profound system actually comes from. Ifá emerged directly from the Yoruba civilization. There's no separating that. Its language, its deep cultural memory, its sacred literature, and its worldview are all undeniably Yoruba. But, and this is absolutely crucial to remember, wisdom is not imprisoned by geography. Just like people all over the world study Greek, Chinese, or Indian philosophy, people from literally any culture can study the wisdom of Ifá as long as they do it with sincerity and respect. It absolutely belongs to Yoruba civilization, but its wisdom, that speaks to all of humanity.
This universal relevance is just incredibly important for the world we live in right now. I mean, we're in an era where technology might be rapidly improving our civilization, but at the end of the day, only wisdom improves humanity. We're living in this crazy modern paradox. We have access to more information than anyone in history, literally at our fingertips, yet so many people feel completely disconnected from themselves. Ifá serves as this powerful reminder that knowledge without self-knowledge is just entirely incomplete. People aren't just looking for data anymore. They're desperate for meaning.
Ultimately, the core purpose of this timeless philosophy boils down to just a few absolute pillars. It awakens consciousness, it reveals destiny through Ori, it actively cultivates good character, and it teaches us how to actually live in harmony with Olódùmarè, with nature, and with each other. Its ultimate, highest goal isn't just to predict what's going to happen tomorrow. It's to completely transform the human being who is going to go out and create that tomorrow. And honestly, that right there might be the single biggest misunderstanding we've cleared up in this explainer today. People think Ifá exists just to give them answers, but Ifá actually exists to transform the person who is asking the questions. Real enlightenment isn't about escaping the real world, it's about deeply understanding it. It's not about becoming some totally different person either. It's about remembering who you truly are. And that is a journey that always begins from within, with Ori.
So, if the source material we've unpacked today has inspired you even a little bit, the good news is the conversation doesn't have to end here. You're invited to continue this journey of awakening and dive much deeper into African philosophy and the evolution of human consciousness. You can follow Olusegun Daramola, that's at the handle @Olusegun across all your favorite social media platforms. And you should definitely join the dedicated communities at Ifá Enlightenment and Builderr to keep exploring this incredible, timeless wisdom alongside others. I want to leave you with this one final, really powerful thought to chew on as we wrap up. Enlightenment is not a destination. It is a way of living. So ask yourself, how are you going to integrate this interconnected wisdom into your own life today? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. May your Ori illuminate your journey. May wisdom always guide your choices, and may you truly live in harmony with your destiny. Ashe.